Over 60% of older adults report feeling mentally slower in the evening. That's not a guess, it's data. And yet most people brush it off as just getting old. But let me be honest with you. After 30 years of listening to patients describe this fog, this strange quieting of the mind after dinner, I can tell you something with confidence. It's not your memory that's the problem, it's your blood flow. I've seen it again and again. People in their 60s and 70s who still read, still think clearly, still engage until the sun starts to go down, and then comes the mental drag. You lose your train of thought. You walk into a room and stand there unsure of why. You reread the same sentence 3 times and nothing sticks. Sound familiar? That's not dementia. That's not the end of anything. That's your brain running low on fuel. See, your brain is only 2% of your body's weight, but it uses over 20% of your oxygen. And oxygen arrives through one system only, blood circulation. Now here's the twist. By age 65, your blood vessels become less flexible, especially the ones leading to key thinking regions in your brain, the frontal cortex, the hippocampus. Less flexibility means less flow. Less flow means less clarity. But here's the part no one talks about. You don't need drugs to fix this. You don't even need supplements. You just need food, the right food at the right time. Tonight I want to show you 3 vegetables that improve blood flow to the brain gently, naturally, and in a way that works while you sleep. These aren't exotic. They're probably already in your kitchen, but when used intentionally, they become one of the most powerful tools for keeping your mind sharp after sunset. And the third one I'll share might just change how you feel by the end of this week. If you're new here and you care about staying clear-headed as you age, consider subscribing to Pure Health Tips. This channel exists for people like you. Now let's begin not with a supplement or a theory, but with something simple, red, and surprisingly powerful. You've seen tomatoes your whole life in salads, soups, sauces. But what you may not realize is that this simple fruit holds one of the most powerful brain-restoring compounds for older adults, lycopene. Lycopene is a natural antioxidant, but more importantly, it's a compound that affects how your blood vessels behave. As we age, our vascular system becomes less elastic. The walls of our arteries stiffen. Blood doesn't move as freely. This hits the brain first, especially the deep structures responsible for memory and decision making. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition and Aging in 2021 found that older adults with higher lycopene levels had significantly better blood flow in the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain that manages short-term memory, attention, and planning. Even more interesting, the study showed that lycopene helped reduce neuroinflammation, a hidden factor in age-related cognitive decline. When blood vessels become inflamed, they don't dilate properly. The brain receives less oxygen and fewer nutrients. Over time, this creates a pattern of fatigue, forgetfulness, and poor focus that can feel like early-stage dementia, but isn't. What lycopene does is quietly powerful. It helps reduce that inflammation, it softens the vessel walls, and it allows more oxygen-rich blood to reach the places in your brain that are struggling to stay sharp. Another clinical trial from the International Journal of Molecular Sciences in 2020 reported that lycopene supplementation improved cognitive performance in older mice exposed to oxidative stress. While that may sound like a lab result, the real-world effect is simple. Tomatoes help your brain breathe again. I remember a woman named Alice. She was 74, a retired teacher. She told me, "I read the same page 3 times before anything sticks." I asked about her diet. Tomatoes weren't there. We made one change. Roasted tomatoes with olive oil 5 evenings a week. 3 weeks later, she said, "I'm not skipping lines anymore. It feels like the fog is thinning." That's not a miracle. That's circulation. The key is bioavailability. Raw tomatoes contain lycopene, but it's locked tight in the cell walls. To release it, you need heat and healthy fat. That's why cooked tomatoes, like in soups or roasted with olive oil, work best. The combination of warmth and fat unlocks lycopene, making it easier for your body to absorb and deliver to your brain. A small portion is enough. Half a cup of cooked tomatoes or a small roasted tomato with dinner. Do that consistently, not once in a while, and you give your brain a fighting chance to recover clarity. Timing matters too. Consuming tomatoes with your evening meal allows your body to absorb and distribute the lycopene during sleep, when brain recovery is at its peak. If you've been feeling mentally tired after sunset, this is one of the simplest changes you can make. No supplements, no side effects, just a fruit you've ignored quietly working to open your mind again. In the next part, we'll look at something stronger. It doesn't just open blood vessels, it thins the blood slightly, helping it reach your brain faster, deeper, and with more oxygen. You've probably chopped it hundreds of times, but tonight you'll see it in a new light. If tomatoes are gentle support for your brain's blood vessels, onions are the quiet force that clears the path. Inside every layer of an onion lies a flavonoid called quercetin. It's bitter, sharp, and highly active in the human body. And for older adults, it may be one of the most underrated compounds for restoring circulation to the brain. Unlike lycopene, which works on the structure of blood vessels, quercetin acts on the blood itself. Specifically, it reduces platelet aggregation